JAMF parent onto your iPhone or iPad from the App Store. When you open it for the first time, you will be taken through the Setup Assistant. This makes sure that your device has the correct settings so it functions properly. This covers privacy policy and any other settings to make it run smoothly. Once the app is set up, it's time to connect your child's device. Tap Get Started. The easiest way is to tap Scan QR code. Don't forget to allow access to the camera to ensure that this works. Now we will open JAMF Student on your child's iPad. If the iPhone or the iPad is automatically near your child's device, then the QR code will automatically appear. Do not worry if this does not happen, because you can quite simply go into the menu, choose your child's avatar and authorize parent here. Then it's a case of simply scanning the QR code, tap and confirm, and your child's device has been added to the dashboard. If you need to add any further devices, scroll to the bottom. It's a good idea to set locations. Now we are ready to start using rules and creating some restrictions for your child. We're going to tap on the location button, and then we are going to go to create location. If you give this location a name, and then tap the select a map location, and then type the address. Then tap the address that has been chosen. And what you will notice is a preview map shows on the bottom of the screen. If you tap and drag on that map, this will determine a geofence which sets a boundary so JAMF knows that your child's device is at that location. Once your child's device crosses into that location, this is where restrictions and tracking can be used. You can repeat this for multiple locations. Simply tap back, hit save, and then add another location. This is particularly useful if children go to friends or family or childminders and you want to restrict the device and set up certain rules at those locations. Now that we have our locations, you'll be able to see when your child has been there and also create rules that take effect there too. Go back to the home page, and now if we click into your child's device, you will be faced with 3 tabs: Allowed Apps, Device Rules, and Device. This is the area where we can create rules and restrictions. Let's click onto Allowed Apps. Allowed apps let you use real-time restrictions manually on your child's device. For example, we can enable app lock and choose an app. The iPad will then be locked into that app for a certain period of time. So let's go for enable app and let's choose books. When we hit done, you can see a timer appears underneath and the iPad has immediately opened into that app. It is opened into that app because I have only chosen one app, but as you can see on your phone, you have a blue change allowed apps button, and it may be that they need to take some notes while they're reading their book. So we can hit done and we can change the enabled apps in real time. Now what this allows us to do is on the child's device, we can tap out and what you will see is the only 2 apps available are books and Apple Notes. We can disable the app lock and this will return the iPad to normal. And all of the apps will return. You can also restrict certain functionality like FaceTime, messages or anything else, and you can block app categories, but check which app falls into these categories first. For example, if I go to entertainment and turn off entertainment, you will notice that certain apps such as YouTube completely disappear. It's worth checking which apps fall into which category in case you turn off any apps that your child needs for their work. The Device Rules tab allows you to create some rules and restrictions on that device based on a number of things. These can be locations, when a child is in motion, running, walking, at certain times of day, or even just some ad hoc rules. Let's create a rule for a location and a time. We're going to tap on Create Device Rules, and we're going to choose Location. And we're going to choose the childminders. We want to create a rule that eliminates certain apps when they get to the childminders to enable the child to complete their homework. I'm going to go to custom. I'm going to create a custom rule, and I'm going to decide which apps I want to be allowed. I'm going to hit select all on the bottom, so all of the apps have a tick. If you remember that any apps that have a tick, those are the apps that are allowed. So I'm going to remove Game Center, iTunes Store, podcasts, music, photo booth news, and YouTube. Any apps which I feel may be a distraction. Once I've chosen the apps that I want, I'm going to hit next. And then this allows me to choose days and times. Now I can choose to always have this on when they get to the childminders. It may be that I want to choose it so it's only after school that they're going to do their homework. So I'm going to choose Monday to Friday. I'm going to choose a start time. And I'm going to choose an end time. Now the reason this is important is if you choose always, this means that this rule will always be applied when they are at that location. And I only want it to be applied at certain times when they're at that location. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to give that a name. I'm going to call it Childminders Homework. I've selected the device rule as custom. I want it to be between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock on a weekday. And at the bottom, you can see where it's at the childminders. I'm going to hit save. I've also got create a device rule again. We can do this ad hoc. And this might be that, for example, I'm going to go custom again. I'm going to choose all of the apps. But at a certain time of night, I want certain apps to turn off and they are no longer available on the iPad. Things which may be a distraction and which may stop my child from winding down for bed. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it bedtime. I'm going to hit save. And what I can do is I can turn that one on and off anytime that I want that one to be on and off. I can also do this at a day and time. So I can do, again, we can go for social media this time. And we're going to hit next. And we are going to choose that every day we want social media to be turned off at 6:30. And the end time will be in the morning at 8 o'clock. We're going to choose next. We're just going to say social media. So social media is only available between certain hours. We've selected the device rule, which we've called social media, and we have got when this is going to happen, and we're going to hit save. Now that we've created these rules can be triggered. So bedtime, for example, I can trigger that at any time. I can hit start, and if I hit start now, you will notice that YouTube has been removed. I can stop that active device rule whenever it is. So I have full control, and that should appear again. And the other two are set to occur at certain locations or at certain times. The final tab, the device tab, this gives you information about your child's device. So it will tell you how much storage is being used on the iPad and how much battery they have left. You can tap update device information to get that in real time. If your child can't remember their passcode, you can tap remove passcode and that will take the passcode off. And also you can see a rough location and you can see location history. So if your iPad has been into those locations that you've set up, for example, home, childminders, friend or family, it will show up on those locations too. JAMF Parent gives you full control so you can rest easy that your child is using their device the way that it was intended.